Hi, everyone, and welcome. You know, when you're learning English, sometimes you find words that seem, well, a bit tricky.
Oh, absolutely. Happens to everyone.
And that's totally okay.
Yeah.
So, today we're going to take a good look, a deep dive into one specific word, deportation.
Deportation. You might have heard it.
Yeah, have you heard that word before? It can sound a little serious.
It can, and it describes something specific a government does. So, simply put, deportation is when the government of a country tells a person, you need to leave.
Leave this country and go back where you came from, your home country.
Exactly.
And you might hear this word maybe in the news or something, so knowing what it means,
Yeah,
well, it's pretty helpful.
it really is.
And to help us get the picture, we heard about a man, Mr. Garcia. It's a
Yeah.
real-world example. He was actually sent away from a country.
Deported.
Right, deported. But it turns out it was an accident, a mistake.
Yeah, and his situation, it really shows why understanding deportation is important and, some other words that often come up with it. Because even when people try to do things right sometimes, well, mistakes happen. And understanding the whole process is really useful.
Okay, so let's break this down then. We'll look at some key words you often hear when people talk about deportation. We'll go nice and slow, okay?
Sounds good.
So the first word, naturally, is deport, the action itself. How can we explain deport simply?
Okay, so deport is the verb, the action word. It means a government officially tells someone they have to leave that country
Right.
and go back to their home country. So like we mentioned with Mr. Garcia, he was deported by mistake.
Meaning the government made an error, told him to leave when they shouldn't have.
Exactly, an error.
Okay. And we keep saying country,
Right.
like leave the country or home country.
Yeah.
What exactly is a country? Let's make that clear.
Good point. A country is basically, well, it's a place, right? With its own government making its own rules.
Rules we call laws.
Yes, laws.
Yeah.
And it usually has defined borders. So in Mr. Garcia's story, the United States is one country. That's where he was living. And El Salvador is another country. That's where he's from, his home country.
Got it. United States, a
Yeah.
country. El Salvador, a country.
Right.
Simple enough. Now, you said what happened to Mr. Garcia. It wasn't right. It was
A mistake. Yeah, a mistake is just something wrong, something that wasn't planned or wasn't done correctly, an error.
right. So if we say it was a big mistake that Mr. Garcia was deported.
It means the officials, the authorities made a really significant error, a bad one. And sadly, these mistakes can really affect people's lives in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely. And when a mistake like this happens, especially with something serious like deportation, there's usually a place they look into it, right? Where decisions get made.
Yes, there is. That place is called a court.
A court, okay.
Think of a court like a special room or building where legal issues, problems with the law are discussed,
Yeah.
and decisions are made there, usually by a judge.
So for Mr. Garcia, you'd say the court looked at Mr. Garcia's case to see if the deportation was okay or not.
Precisely. They review everything.
And you mentioned the person in the court who makes the big decisions.
Right.
What's their title again?
That person is called a judge. J-U-D-G-E. A judge.
Okay, a judge.
Yeah, a judge is an official. They work in the court, and they have the authority, the power to make these legal decisions.
So when we heard the judge said Mr. Garcia could come back,
It means that specific official, the judge, decided his deportation wasn't right, wasn't correct according to the rules.
according to what's the word for the rule?
The law. L-A-W law.
Ah, yes, the law.
The law is basically the whole set of official rules for a country. Everyone is supposed to follow them.
Okay.
So if we say the law said it was not right to deport Mr. Garcia, it means, according to those official rules of the country, sending him away wasn't the correct thing to do.
Uh-huh.
And immigration law is just one specific part of a country's laws dealing with, people moving between countries.
Wow, okay. That explanation really helps connect those words. Deport, country, mistake, court, judge, law.
Yeah, they often work together in these situations.
So let's quickly revisit Mr. Garcia's story, just to see how it all fits. He's from El Salvador, living in the United States.
Correct. And think about the order. First, he's living in the U.S., a country.
Right.
Then he gets deported. The government tells him to leave.
Okay.
But importantly, this happened because of a mistake, an error by the authorities.
And because they realized it was a mistake, What happened next?
Well, then the case went to a court.
The special place for legal decisions.
Exactly. And in the court, a judge looked closely at all the details.
Okay.
And using the law, the rules, that judge made a decision.
And the decision was?
The judge decided the deportation was wrong, incorrect, and that Mr. Garcia should be allowed to come back to the United States.
Ah, I see. So you really see how all those words link together there. Deported, country, mistake, court, judge, law. It helps understand his situation.
It really does paint a clearer picture, doesn't it? Seeing it in a real story.
Yeah, and it makes you think. People moving between countries, that happens all the time, everywhere.
It's a very common thing globally. People move for all sorts of reasons. Jobs, family, safety, many reasons.
And when someone moves to a new place, a new country, well, figuring out all the rules, the laws, it can be tough.
Oh, definitely. It can be confusing, overwhelming sometimes. Different systems, maybe a different language too.
Which kind of brings us to an important point for everyone, really. Just being kind. You know, if you meet people who are new or maybe going through something difficult like this, just showing some understanding, it matters.
It really does. A little kindness goes a long way. And remembering these are real people with real lives affected by these processes and words.
Yeah. Understanding the words like deportation helps us maybe understand their situations a bit better and have more thoughtful conversations.
I agree completely. Understanding leads to better communication.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap. What did we learn today? The main word was deportation.
Right. When a government tells someone they have to leave the country.
And we looked at the key vocabulary that often goes with it. Deport.
The action itself. The place with its government and laws. When something goes wrong, an error. The place for legal decisions. The person who makes decisions in court. The rules of the country.
And we saw how these words played out in Mr. Garcia's story. Deported by mistake. But the court and judge, using the law, said he could return.
Exactly. It shows the whole process in action.
It really clarifies things.
Yeah.
And it does make you wonder, like, what happens next for Mr. Garcia? You hope he gets to reunite with his family, right?
That's the human side of it, isn't it? Thinking about the future for him. It's a good question to ponder. What do you think might happen next for Mr. Garcia? It reminds us there are real people behind these terms.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive today. We really, really hope explaining deportation and these related words was helpful for you.
Yeah, hopefully it made things a bit clearer for your English learning.
If it did, great. Keep listening for these words. Maybe think about other words you're curious about too. Every new word helps you understand a little bit more.
That's absolutely right. Keep being curious, keep asking questions, keep learning. Understanding language really does open up the world.
Thanks again for listening.
Thanks for joining today's chat on Your Daily English Spark. If you enjoyed this session and want to keep improving your English, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. What topic would you like us to cover next? Let me know in the comments. And don't miss our next episode, where we'll dive into mastering small talk. See you next time.